Welcome in, everybody, to a Thursday night edition of the Joe Quills Show. I'm that ugly looking dude, Joe Quills. Coming up, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here, and 2 days worth of news here, mostly today. And we got a little creative with a couple of the topic titles here, the topics on here. Like, for example, thank you for your service. I'll tell you about that. When's the NFL going to learn? Probably never. Stupid stuff I saw. That was something that I saw online last night. There's no story to go with it. There was a second one that I wanted to do, but I couldn't find a story to go with the situation. So we're just going with the one thing here that happened locally yesterday. And if you follow me on social media, you know exactly what it is because I showed it to you. But, anyways, I hope everybody's doing well out there. Getting the show started here on this Thursday night. Getting ready for a big weekend in sports, horse racing included. Got the Travers this Saturday, the Summer Derby at Saratoga. You got Smarty Jones Day at Parks, and maybe some other things I will do. I'm contemplating things still for this weekend in terms of that. Um, Tomorrow will be Woodbine as they are going to make up the King's Plate card. So the stakes races that I had, um, the stakes races that I had the other night last Saturday for on the Also Eligible show, they come back tomorrow. They're in a different order. That's fine. I just got to edit that out, and we'll get ready for the big day. So the first leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. Probably with the changes and everything else, you're probably not going to see a Canadian Triple Crown winner, but that's okay because they don't. It just seems like with the horses having to go from synthetic to dirt to turf to win the Triple Crown in Canada, it's near impossible, and they don't want to do it. And also the clock, where they are in the calendar doesn't help either with all the major events that go on in Canada, so or the rest of North America for that matter. But I am not in my usual spot tonight, and it's not because of something going on with the computer. So computer's fine. It's just that with the Phillies game on, I got the Phillies are actually on local TV as opposed to cable or streaming. So I'm actually using my backup TV here in the dining room area. So I got the TV going there, and as a result, I am here on my laptop. So you don't have that big bulky headphone on here. I got my headset here, but probably will not be using it tonight. So, but we're here tonight. Keep an eye on the Phillies game. Phillies down 3-2 in the rubber game of a three-game series. Phillies won last night 3-2. They're losing 3-2 tonight. Braves, they probably would be blowing the Phillies out if it wasn't for the fact that they've been decimated by injuries. So, but um, the schedule will lighten up a little bit next month, I believe. Let me just double check that to make sure because they do have to play Houston next week. They got Kansas City this weekend, starting tomorrow night. Let me just go here. Sports, teams, Phillies. So pull up the schedule here. So you have the Astros for 3, the Braves for 4. Oh, and I got to go into that Arcia thing in a second. Then you got the Blue Jays and Marlins on the road. The schedule easing up a little bit. Then you got the Rays, which you don't know what to expect for them. Then you got the Mets, who are playing for a wild card. Then you got the Brewers in Milwaukee. Eh. Then you got the Mets again. Then you got the Cubs, and then you close with the Nationals. So it's possible the Phillies could, after next week, be home free, but you kind of want to win this game, be up 8 going into Kansas City. At least that's what I think. And even if you're up 6, you still win a game in the series, but This time of year, you want to win 2 out of 3 because you win 2 out of 3. It just means that you're winning series left and right, just like they were earlier in the year, and also sweeping teams. So, but I'll tell you what, and this wasn't planned, but now since I brought in the introduction with the Phillies, the Ronald Arcia thing. Um, he had his little moment, and somehow it got leaked to the media that when Bryce Harper had that base running blunder at the end of game 2 of the NLDS last year. Uh, Apparently, I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you're talking about the biggest hot dogs in baseball, if you ask me. You know, the Euro step celebration on uh, um, the drunk guy, Osuna's homers and stuff like that. Just act like you've been there. I mean, most of the Phillies, they act like they've been there. So, there's an occasional thing there, but I think they just, hey, you're better than that. So, Arcia returned the favor to Bryce Harper by staring him down at first base. Now, I didn't see it live because I was out at the last Penny Pack show at Constadters. So I didn't see it. But I watched the replay, and at first I didn't see it. I didn't see the significance of it. And then once you watch it a couple of times on social media, it comes into focus. So the one thing is, it just seems like whenever the Braves open their mouths, even do some nonverbal taunting, it bites them in the ass against the Phillies. So it's just that time of the year, and you know, I just think that you're going to have to take care of business tonight if they can come from behind and win this game, and next week in that 4-game series, put them out of their misery. Now, the thing is also the Philadelphia market, the Philadelphia Phillies fans have seen all kinds of crazy stuff. They saw 2007 where the Phillies came back from 7.5 games with 17 games to go to win the division. And then there was 1964 when they lost 10 in a row at the end of the year when World Series tickets were already printed up for the 1964 World Series. So you did have we've seen both sides of the pendulum there. So that's why until I see the Braves eliminated from the playoffs altogether, or they say on TV or on the news that they they can't get to the division winner or something like that. Until I hear that, I'm not taking anything for granted. So I will tell you right now, it's nice that you still have that 7-game lead, but the Phillies have done things in their history that have been on both sides of that pendulum. So nothing is over. Kind of like I think I was Rocky said. It probably me going Rocky with Preston and Steve Morrison, doing his Rocky impression. Nothing is over. Well, nothing is over until we say it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Okay, and also, mind you, the one thing is with that quote, you have these people on social media. You tell a joke like that, and there's always a couple of people that don't get the joke. They don't understand you're quoting Animal House. And they go, no, idiot, it was the Japanese that bombed Pearl Harbor. I'm like, do you have to watch the movie? Do you have to watch the movie Animal House? Do I have to show the video of the the joke and the sarcasm that's involved with it? Do I have to show that? But it's just I almost was tempted to do a poll today You have to listen to one thing for 24 hours straight, and if you don't, you die. Which would you do? Nails on a chalkboard. This part I couldn't figure out in 25 characters. That's why I didn't post it. Um, Stupid people explaining something, like, stupid people trying to defend somebody in politics or something like that. But, or I forget what the third one was now. Oh, because I was trying to go for a laugh, I was going to say, well, the third one could be William Hung singing for 24 hours. Now, that would have been an interesting poll, but, you know, I didn't want to get myself into trouble, so I didn't do it. And also, I didn't know how to word that second option in 25 characters or less. So, Elon, if you got to fix one thing, you got to fix that poll thing. But that's just me. So, but Phillies hit into a double play there. They had a rally going in the eighth. They do not score 3-2 bottom of the eighth coming up. So, so, so I'm here in this position tonight, and I'll get more centered um, as we go on with the show. So, we got a different look tonight, but we'll be back on the big computer on Saturday for the also eligible, which will be probably all Saratoga. Probably will be the same situation as last week, where Saratoga will take up most, if not all, the show. But I will have a second article for the races at Parks for Smarty Jones Day. And if you're in the local Philadelphia area, that will be on NBC Sports Philadelphia from 3 to 5 p.m. Uh, and if you're playing the races at Saratoga on Saturday, um, you got to get that thumb limber because you're going to be watching Fox 29 or whatever your local Fox station is in your area for that game because for that matchup, for those races, because the Travers will be on Big Fox, as I call it, as opposed to FS1, FS2, FS8, etc. So, but um, but we'll see what happens with that. But we'll be back on the big computer. It's just that got a big Phillies game here tonight. So, and since it's on over the air TV. Take advantage of the extra TV I have. So let's get to it here. And the Mariners made a move today, and we say thank you for your service, Scott Service. And if you notice there as it comes up here, thank you for your service, Serviais, because that's how he spells his last name. I forget who posted that on, or who I saw post that um, on on X tonight. You know, gave me an idea. Just go a little goofy with some of the topics here tonight. So we do have Scott Service did get fired today, and the Mariners lost 8 of their last 9 games, mostly because of a lethargic offense. They fired Service on Thursday, a source confirmed to ESPN amid multiple reports. And this was originally reported by Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic, who also works for Fox. So, Service briefly met with his players in the wake of Wednesday's sweep clinching loss to the Dodgers and told them to use the upcoming off day as an opportunity to reset and prepare for the stretch run. Well, they're going to be resetting for the stretch run, but they're going to be resetting with a new manager. Now, the Mariners were outscored 17-7 in the sweep, um, failing on back-to-back nights to gain ground on first place Houston. Now, on June 18th, Seattle had a 10-game lead in the division, and we were thinking, and I'm sure everybody was loving it because everybody calls the Astros a bunch of cheaters. So bad. So, with everything that was going on with the Astros, and I'm thinking, maybe this manager just doesn't know what the hell he's doing. But the team has fought back. So the thing is, you need, in order to take over the lead and lead by 5 games right now, like Houston is right now, you need basically 2 trains passing in the night. Thank boy, welcome in. Hope you're doing well out there. Um, I mean, because like the Phillies, they haven't been exactly world beaters since the All Star break. But the thing is, they've been able to maintain their lead for the most part. It just seems like every time it gets down to 4 or 5 games, it goes back to 7 or 8, and that's something that just happens. Sometimes you get lucky and the teams behind you are losing just as well, or they catch up to you and you just say, "I know you don't." But um, but Houston finally got on track. Seattle hit a slide, and Seattle they've been pitching well all year. They got the best ERA among starters in the American League. It's just that they were not hitting at all. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the hitting coach was fired earlier in the year. I think, and I didn't look it up because didn't have enough time because I was starting to prep for my article for tomorrow. So they had since that game on since June 18th, the Mariners are 20-33. So Houston has made up 15 games to not only catch up but surpass them by 5 games. And Seattle has dropped to 500 for the first time since April 24th. So you're looking at a team that is in crisis mode here. They're thinking, maybe we get to the World Series finally. But not only are they not going to the World Series, they may not even make the playoffs, even as a division winner or a wild card. So, but they have a dynamic rotation. Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian, woo! Sorry, I had to do the Ric Flair thing. And Bryce Miller, that has combined for a major league best 3.53 ERA. But the problem is their offense is anemic. They have produced an OPS of 666. I mean, they've had a devil of a time scoring runs and stuff like that. Uh, and that OPS is lower than every team except for the Marlins and the White Sox. So, so you're talking about putting undue stress on your pitchers because your offense cannot do crap. Um, now, Now, the Mariners did get to the playoffs in 2022 under Service, snapping a 21-year playoff drought with a 90-win season in 2022. But they fell short of the postseason in 23, last year, following a lackluster September. So that probably played a part as well. So, so you have all those things going on. And you have the end of last year where they're trying to get in. They didn't get in last minute. Goodbye. So um, they also had all kinds of problems here as well because they were fearing loss of revenues due to uncertainty over their regional sports network. Because if there's one thing that you will hear from me, I am predicting, but I don't have like an actual date. It just seems like the regional sports network thing will not work. It is not sustainable in baseball. You got to go national with this, but and how they do that, I don't know. But Mariners ownership opted against an increase in payroll the following offseason, prompting the front office to fix the offense with low-cost moves that did not pan out. So, um, so you do have they did the fiscally responsible thing, but it didn't work. Uh, Mitch Garver, Mitch Haniger, and Jorge Polanco, who came in, they all struggled. Um, J.P. Crawford, who was a regular on the Mariners, he failed to replicate his offensive surge last year, and he was hurt this year too for a little bit too. Julio Rodriguez did not perform; he was also hurt. Um, the Mariners tried to inject some hope into some life in this team with getting Randy Rosarena and Justin Turner. They won 6-9 at the start of August, but they came into that nine game period where they lost 8-9, where Service lost his job. So, but Dan Wilson, the former catcher, he will be taking over the team, from what I heard. Hopefully, Seattle can make it interesting because it's really, well, I got $10 on the Mariners to win the division, but um, if they come out flat this series, you may be looking at a team that probably is the biggest disappointment in baseball this year. Um, Now, I mean, the Braves, you can't call them complete disappointments if they end up missing playoffs because they had so many injuries. So, so that was the big news in baseball. And I saw that accidentally today. I was looking at something, and oh, by the way, Scott Service got fired. So I was trying to confirm. I couldn't find the article to print and all that, but eventually he did get canned today. So then the other big news, which is the when will Major League Baseball learn? Well, Howie Roseman strikes again. That is because he has traded with the Washington Commanders. He traded for Jahan Dotson and a fifth round. The Eagles get Dotson and a 2025 fifth round pick in exchange for a third round pick and 2 sevens. Now, acquiring Dotson, the Eagles secured their number 3 wide receiver to complement star wide receivers A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Both of them received long-term extensions in the offseason. So basically, Howie Roseman's not messing around this year. And he's basically saying, if it's my assets going, it's not because I didn't try. Now, Roseman's job is probably safe, but I personally think that if Nick Sirianni has a collapse like last year, he's gone. And he's on the hot seat. There's no question about that. I don't think he's the first coach that's fired. Personally, I think this Eagles team is so loaded on offense that you may be looking at historic output from the team. So, but that's just me. And that's me as an Eagles fan talking to you. Um, but Jalen Hurts, he's got weapons upon weapons upon weapons. Plain and simple. I mean, he's got Saquon Barkley coming in this year. I think he gets 1 or 2 good years out of Barkley, maybe. He still has Dallas Goedert. He's got Brown. He's got Devontae Smith. He's got Dotson now. I mean, you're talking about an offense that is loaded. And if the Eagles fall flat on their face again this year, the Eagles will be looking at a new coach. Plain and simple. And by the way, the Braves win 3-2. Oh, well. So the Eagles did have a rotating cast of wide receiver threes. Paris Campbell and Britton Covey. Covey is a punt returner as well, so he's more valuable. Rookie Johnny Wilson was among the wideouts that made first-team reps. Now, Dotson had 49 receptions for 518 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Commanders. Um, Dotson did not become the receiver Washington needed. In 29 career games, he caught 84 passes for 1,041 yards and 11 touchdowns. Uh, he failed to solidify himself as Washington's number 2 receiver opposite scary Terry McLaurin this summer. Dotson was used in variety spots and was considered best in the slot. But coaches say he need to improve his play and strength to make him more experienced, more consistent. Now, if there is a red flag that the Eagles fans have to worry about, and Eagles brass, Dotson has a 7.4 drop percentage rate last season, which was 10th highest in the NFL. So, cause for concern, yeah. It's just a matter of making sure he gets the opportunity, does what he needs to do. And sometimes you just can't even teach. I mean, I just wonder, do you really teach catching a ball? I mean, yeah, at certain positions you got to go, but I think in a lot of cases you do have to realize that maybe, maybe the Eagles can get him to catch the ball a little bit more, but maybe he's just one of those guys that just finds a way to drop passes when he hears footsteps, so to speak. But we'll see coming up here. He probably won't play on Saturday, given he's just getting in here and he's got to learn the playbook in 2 weeks for the season opener in Brazil. But um, but it will be interesting to see. And Eagles got plenty of weapons this year, and if the Eagles don't make a deep run in the playoffs, it's bye bye Nick Sirianni, in my opinion. But I'm ready. I'm ready for the season to start. Probably next Thursday, I will probably have to do my prediction sure to go wrong edition, where I got to take my sandals off. So we have to pick a win, pick a loss for every team. I got to set up the spreadsheet, color code it, and then we figure out from the records who will be the teams in the Super Bowl and who I may end up dropping a wager on. But if it's like the second favorite or third favorite, no, I'm not waiting. Like a couple of years ago, I had the Eagles at 30-1 to win the Super Bowl at the start of the year, and or was it 20 to 1? Got to the Super Bowl, got to a tie game in the fourth quarter, but could not get the job done. Oh well, it happens. But um, but we'll see here. So Dotson's an Eagle, and hopefully that may be the final offensive piece for the Eagles, and we'll see what the defense does as well. Now, history was made in Denver. Now, it's not that big of a deal, but considering how long it's been, rookie Bo Nix will be the opening day starter. And Sean Payton, the Denver coach, announced that after practice on Wednesday. Now, what's the historical factor in this? The last rookie quarterback to start the season as the QB1 was John Elway. So you're talking about 40 some years between a rookie quarterback debuting as the number one quarterback. So you got a lot of things going on there. So far so good with Bo Nix. Um, but before I get to that, Peyton had decided a lack of ceremony about the decision. He simply told Nix and Jared Stidham, who's the backup, right before Wednesday's practice. Peyton joked, "We didn't have cake or candles." He added he had not formally told the rest of the team, including the post-practice huddle. But Bo Nix had taken most of the snaps with the starting offense last week, including Friday's joint practice against the Green Bay Packers. And Nix started Sunday's preseason game, went 8 for 9 for 80 yards and a touchdown, and the Broncos 27-2 win at Empower Field at Mile High. Nix has led the Broncos on scoring drives in 6 of 7 possessions he's played. Now, granted, you're talking about a vanilla offenses, vanilla defenses, but he's getting the ball down the field. So I guess, I haven't watched any Broncos games, but, you know, now, and also the Broncos have had multiple first downs in every one of Nix's drives. So being able to move the ball down the field is something Denver has been able to do. Um, or at least they hadn't done that as well. But you know, but you do have. Um, I mean, he did have Russell Wilson have an okay year. He just got benched the last 2 games of the year. Um, Now, Nix was the sixth quarterback taken in the first round this past April. He's the highest drafted quarterback since they selected Jay Cutler 11th back in 2006. Um, Nix is also the first rookie quarterback to open a season for Peyton, who's in his 18th year as a head coach. So, so you are looking at a lot of firsts with Bo Nix being the starting quarterback here. But Denver, they have not made the playoffs in 8 years since they won Super Bowl 50. Um, Last season, they finished 8-9 in Peyton's first year with the team. Here's a crazy stat. Nix will be the 13th different quarterback and 14th player overall, because remember they had that one game where they had COVID. There was a COVID game where they didn't have any quarterbacks. The NFL said, "F you, you got to play it." Well, because one of the guys was the starting quarterback was a running back, and I believe that was a game against, ironically, Peyton and the Saints, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be the Knicks will be the 13th different quarterback and 14th player overall to open a game behind center for Denver since their last Super Bowl win. So yeah, you do have a lot of incompetence in Denver. Hopefully they get back on track here. Peyton was uh, benched the last potential long-term solution of the position when he sat Russell Wilson down with 2 weeks left in the season. Wilson was released in March, and as we all know, he ends up in Pittsburgh. But I got a bold prediction for um, Russell Wilson coming up here. Um, well, I might as well tell it. Well, the only other rookie quarterback to start for uh, Peyton is Ian Book, the Eagles legend Ian Book. And note the sarcasm with that as well. So, also about Russell Wilson, he's in a fight for the number one job with Justin Fields right now. And I personally think if Justin Fields wins the starting quarterback job, I think Russell Wilson gets cut. And I mentioned it last night, and they said, "Dude, what are you smoking?" Well, not exactly smoking, but you get the idea. Um, but I just think I don't think you want Russell Wilson sulking on the sidelines because he's a bench player. How's he going to react to that? I don't know. But I just really think that a lot of what I mean, but the whole Pittsburgh offense is trash right now. And, you know, they got some tough decisions to make just to make the roster half decent. So we'll see. But Bo Nix, though, will be the starting quarterback for Denver. And we'll see what happens with everything else here. So now I did bring up something interesting here, and I saw this yesterday. Um, Now I'm sure the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12, they probably resolved how they're going to do tiebreakers this year, um, especially in football. But the one thing I will tell you is, I'm glad I'm not even in college basketball. Trying to break tiebreakers has got to be insanely hard because think about it. The SEC is 16 teams. The Big Ten is 18. The ACC is 14 or 15, 14. No, no, they're 16 now. And then you got the Big 12 with 16, I believe. The numbers are escaping me, but I know SEC has 16. Imagine trying to break, whether it's football or basketball, a 10-team tiebreaker. And I think one of the power conferences or one of the conferences last year had a crazy tiebreaker that they had to break, like 6, 7, 8 teams in college basketball. I think it was the ACC, but ACC basketball, that is. But the SEC announced their tiebreakers for the 2024 football season with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas coming into the league. And they also eliminated the divisions in the newly expanded 16-team league. So it is possible you could get Alabama and Auburn, Oklahoma and Texas, um, Georgia and Florida. You could have two teams that were in the old SEC East or in the old SEC West and play each other in those in that championship game. Now, it may be better to keep the divisions only because it'd be easier to break those tiebreakers. Because you're probably, I'm looking more at basketball than football, but football, it may happen as well because obviously not all teams are going to play each other. You may end up with a 6, 7 way tiebreaker for that one spot. So it may happen. So here's the format for between teams competing for a spot in the SEC championship game. Head-to-head competition between tied teams. Okay, yeah, that's basically everything. Every tiebreaker you have head-to-head first. Record versus all common conference opponents among the tied teams. So then you're starting to talk NFL tiebreakers. Record against the highest best placed common opponent in the conference standings and proceeding through the standings among the tied teams. So now you're starting talking about you're really going with a lot of this stuff. Um, Cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents among the tied teams. Capped relative scoring margin versus all conference opponents among the tied teams. Formulas will include a cap of 42 points scored on offense and 48 points allowed scored on defense. So it isn't like the old BCS where, you know, if you blow out a team by 70, that helps your standings. They are keeping it at a certain point. And then random draw of tied teams. So now, if the regular season standings determine a clear conference champion and two or more teams are tied for second, the conference champion will be the designated home team in the SEC championship game, and the tie-breaking procedures will be based to determine its opponent. Um, Now, if a tie-breaking step procedure standings with the two teams tied for first place in the conference, both will qualify for the SEC championship game. But to decide the seeding, which is basically determine who's the designated home team, both teams will progress through the two-team tie-breaking procedures until the tie is broken, which will determine home and away designation, as I said. Um, and in 1992, the SEC became the first conference with a conference championship game when they went to 12 teams, when they brought in Arkansas and South Carolina. Um, then in 2012, they brought in Missouri and Texas A&M. In 2012, they had 7 teams in each division. Now they're going just with one division of 16, which I think is asinine. I think you got to have 8 and 8, but what do I know? And but that's if you're if your mind is blown, don't worry. So was mine trying to figure that out when I first read it, and even rereading it here today. So, but you do have that, and and then we'll get back into the baseball news here, and be interesting to see what happens here. And the New York, the Yankees scores on the screen. That's why I said Yankees. The New York Dodgers. Jesus Christ. The LA Dodgers. Let's try that again. The LA Dodgers, LA, Los Angeles. They had a roster crunch because they've had so many injured players and all this. They designated Jason Hayward for assignment on Thursday, and he's a well-respected clubhouse president who has struggled with infrequent playing time. Became the odd man out with Chris Taylor activated off the injured list. With the move, the Dodgers essentially chose to keep center fielder Kevin Kiermaier, their only left-handed hitter off the bench. Taylor and fellow super utility man Enrique Hernandez were also perceivably on the bubble. So, when you have that much talent in the locker room there, you got to make a tough decision with everything. And Hayward wasn't producing either. So, kind of like what the Phillies did with Whit Merrifield, where, you know, he wasn't playing every day and he wasn't adjusting to the super utility role or utility role, whatever you want to call it. And he got cut and ended up with Atlanta because Atlanta needed a second baseman. But now rival teams have 7 days to claim Hayward off of waivers. Otherwise, he will be released and become a free agent. Because the one thing is, when you're DFA'd and you have so much time in Major League Baseball like Hayward has, because he's 35 now, he played 13, 14 years in baseball, you had the right to refuse a minor league assignment. And the only one that I know that could have refused a minor league assignment and did not in the last 15, 20 years that I know of off the top of my head was Brett Myers. I mean, in a situation like a DFA like Jason Hayward, um, they told Myers, listen, go down to the minors, get your head straight, throw some strikes, do what we're telling you to do. You'll be back before you know it. And he did. And he, one of the rare major league players that had the time and just said, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay with the organization. I trust you guys. And it paid out. It paid up for him because he was on the roster in 2007 when the Phillies came back from 7.5 from 17 to win the division. I mentioned that earlier in the show about the Phillies and the Mets and how this division's not over, even though it's still a sizable lead in the division. But you are looking at someone here who, in Hayward, who will probably be picked up. Now, he won't last at the Phillies because the Phillies will be one of the last teams in the waiver wire because basically when you have somebody put on waivers, the team with the worst record, which is the White Sox, they'll have first shot at them, and then you go right down the list. Now, although some teams that are out of it would probably pick him up just for shits and giggles, you know, you may have you may have a surprise in there. So it may happen, it may not, but you know, if somebody needs an outfielder in the bench on the bench, it may be him. Um, I don't think the Phillies are going to pick him up if he drops all the way down to them. But since they do say here he is a great clubhouse presence, maybe because he was on that team that won the World Series that Kyle Schwarber was on. So you do have so um, you do have some familiarity with Schwarber and Hayward, and if they got along in Chicago, you know. But I think that the Phillies will probably look for somebody, try to keep what they have here with Weston Wilson being um, a guy that can play many different positions, and he is young enough, be cheaper. Well, well, Jason Hayward will probably get a prorated minimum. Well, let me rephrase that. The Phillies would assume the salary if they claimed him. But if nobody claims him, they would basically sign him for the prorated minimum. So that will probably what would happen there. But be interesting to see who would pick him up in a week. And by the time next Thursday comes around, probably be like, huh? So probably will happen where I'll just be sitting there, wondering what's going on. But but his most famous moment came near the end of the 2016. Well, it came in Game 7 of the 2016 World Series. He had a speech during a rain delay in Game 7. If you remember, they pushed the game up an hour to try to avoid a rainstorm. They got 9 innings in. They had a rain delay. They had to come back for the 10th inning. Um, so uh, his speech um, helped the Cubs propel them to a World Series. So he was a part of the team that broke the 108-year championship drought. But so he's probably going to join a playoff contender. Now it's a question of somebody going to claim him, or does he go to free agency? We'll see. But that came up today. Actually, yeah, that was earlier today, and we'll see. We'll see where he ends up. Um, I don't think he'll. I think if somebody claims him, he won't make it to Philly. Because the one thing is, if you know that somebody really needs somebody, and you're competing with somebody in the playoffs, in the playoff chase, you may just claim them just so that he doesn't get to that other team. You know, I mean, it's nefarious, but it's also a part of the waiver process. You can say, "Hey, we'll take them," and just because you can't, just because you can't, just to make sure that he doesn't end up on a team that you're competing with for a playoff spot. So that wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens. Anyways, I also saw this today, and this was actually yesterday. I saw it, but I since I was out yesterday, I didn't get to do the live show, obviously, but um, Joey Votto, the Reds legend, he has retired. Just taking a peek here. Okay, so Joey Votto retired today or yesterday. Six-time All-Star and the 2010 National League MVP has retired. The 40-year-old made the announcement as part of social media on Wednesday night. Um, he said that I was myself in the sport. I was able to be my best self. I played this sport with every last ounce of my body, heart, and mind. Thank you for everything. Now, he became a free agent after the 23 season. at the end of a 12-year, $251.5 million contract with the Reds, who selected him in the second round of the 2002 amateur draft out of Richview College Institute in Toronto. Um, and he said as part of his post, Cincinnati, I've only played for you. I love you. Well, technically he did. He was in the Toronto organization. He just couldn't get to the majors because all different things. Um, um, Now, he did sign a minor league deal with his hometown team, the Blue Jays, on March 9th. Now, he homered off of Zach Wheeler of the Phillies in his only spring training at bat for Toronto on March 17th. He stepped on a bat in the dugout later in that game and was sidelined for the next 3 months. Um, I think it was a back injury, but it could have been a million different things there. But he had been playing at AAA Buffalo, went 6 for 42 with a homer and 4 RBIs in 15 games, striking out 22 times. And ironically enough, the Blue Jays were hosting the Reds last night in the final game of a 3-game series in Toronto. So, ironically enough, those two teams were playing each other, and he was uh, announced his retirement. But I do want to show one thing here before I get to the stupid stuff I saw segment. Well, you know the real title, but I saw this. Well, first of all, we do have a sports equinox coming, and this is from FanDuel. I'm going to share my screen here. Is it that one? There we go. So we have a sports equinox. And I know, what's a sport equinox? Well, basically, all 4 major sports leagues will be playing on Monday, October the 28th. The Giants will be at Pittsburgh. You got 11 NBA games. You got 8 NHL games. And you have Game 3 of the 2024 World Series. So, and even if the World Series were to go to 6 games, you wouldn't have another equinox this year because of the fact that games 3, 4, and 5 would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they'd be off Thursday. Unless there's a rainout, you'll get another equinox on Halloween. So, but that was something I saw today. It's not the stupid stuff that I saw, but it is an interesting thing that I saw nonetheless. So let me stop sharing my screen there for a second. Another thing I saw, and I just gotta find it here because I had where was it? Wasn't that far down, was it? All right. Let me see here one more time if I can't find it. Because the one thing I saw, it was interesting. Maybe it was further down here. I did see like deferred salaries. Um, Let me scroll back up here. One last shot. And I do apologize because this is some great streaming and podcasting. No. Well, I know I shared it, but I think what happened was somebody probably took down the post. Oh well. If I find it on my Facebook page, I'll share it on Monday. If not, forget I said it. But there's a whole list of players that have deferred contracts this year that are getting paid while not being with the team or not being in baseball at all, like Didi Gregorius. He's getting $2 million a year for the next 2 years from the Phillies. So, um, so you do have those contracts up out there like that. Chris Davis of the Orioles is the largest one. He gets $9 million a year for like the next 10 years. But some crazy stuff there, nonetheless. Um, so what you know? What? I'm also going to give out a college football pick tonight because the college football season starts week 0. Actually, I may give two, but um, I'll give you two college football picks for this week as we get the football season started. But before we get to that, I do want to get to the stupid shit I saw segment. And there's no article that goes with it. This is just something I saw on Facebook today that I'm sure Bank Boy probably saw already. And yeah, I just shake my head sometimes because with somebody as famous as Bruce Springsteen, okay, you got to wonder, does management or events or whoever takes care of the advertising boards on your building, do they check this, do they proofread or anything like that? Well, here's what happened. Bruce Springsteen was in town. He was making up concerts from last year when he was sick. So he ended up coming back to Philadelphia and made up the concerts this week. So here it is. Somehow they heard Bruce Springsteen was coming to town. They didn't realize that he is a musical Hall of Fame, a rock and roll Hall of Famer in Live Casino in South Philadelphia, right outside the Citizens Bank Park. They spelled Springsteen wrong. They spelled it Springsteen instead of the way that he spells his name, Springsteen. Now, he may that may be why when he was performing last night at Citizens Bank Park, that he was singing songs about the New York Giants and commenting about the New York Giants. Maybe it's just because he's 74 years old and probably thought he was in Cleveland or East Rutherford or whatever, but he was singing about the Giants. So he got some boos from the Philly crowd, rightfully so. But either way, that is at 10th and Packer, which is um, like center, like right beyond center field. And I'm trying to picture. Is that Packer Avenue? But either way, they kudos to the person that took that picture and was at the right place at the right time. Kind of like me with finding out that Bet 365 is available in Pennsylvania now. I was walking around downtown a couple of weeks ago, and I see an ad on one of the billboards in the downtown area. It's like, oh, okay. But in this case, I don't know how you spell that wrong. Does anybody double check things anymore? Because I see it more and more in the news when I'm watching the news at night or during the day. you see these misspellings and stuff. It's like, what the hell is going on? So, so I do want to do one more thing here before we get to the picks here. And we tried doing this Tuesday night, but the site was down. Okay. So we are, so I'm going to share my screen here. So I'm going to show you the Bleacher Brothers page. Let me share again. So there's the main Bleacher Brothers page, bleacherbrothers.com. So we have everything on there. Little League World Series news, the latest updates. You see one of the ads here, and this is an ad that I was talking about on Tuesday night. And well, how's if I show the screen? So here you go. So here's the main page. And, we'll get to this part. We're associated with Florida Atlantic University, a.k.a. FAU. Braves beat the Phillies, boo. We have some of the things here. Got the NFL. We got a promotion going on right now where if you're looking to open a FanDuel account, for example, right now for new customers, bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed if you sign up. And also remember 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem. And all customers will get, you bet $5, you get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube or YouTube TV. So that is some promotions they have right now. We broke that on Saturday on Also Eligible. So then you got the baseball area. We also have the City Connect jerseys, basically MLB shop. We have a link for that. NFL fan gear. We have a link for that. Prize Picks. That's a fantasy sports thing. I can't use it in Pennsylvania, but if you're in the state that allows it, feel free to sign up. Fan gear, NCAA. If you're going to use it, we have so much stuff here that we can offer you that I highly recommend. Even if you are going to, if you're going to buy something that's sports related, hit me up, hit AG up, hit anybody up on Bleacher Brothers, and we'll help us out with that. And we get a cut. You should be getting a little bit of a discount as well. I got to check into that, but the point I wanted to make with this is, since it is getting to football season, especially this weekend, I am encouraging you that as long as you bet within your means, we do have a bunch of promotions right now going on. And if you go to Bleacher Bet right there, that icon there, you click on that. Let me click it again because apparently I don't click like I used to. There we go. We got different things here. How to bet on NCAA football. How to bet on NFL football. And we got a couple of guys who give picks every once in a while. How to bet Major League Baseball. And you see there's a sportsbook promotions there. You got a new user promote with Caesars, with FanDuel, with DraftKings, BetMGM, Bet365. If you're in Pennsylvania, they're brand new to the state of Pennsylvania. They're associated with Presque Isle Downs in Erie, Pennsylvania, and then it loops again. And you'll get such things as how to bet the point spread. What does that mean? How to bet parlays. What's a parlay bet? Live betting, how and when. All different things here. So you got all kinds of great information here, as well as stuff there. Now, I created a Horse Racing 101 segment here, and this was from April. and I showed all different things here. This was the top of the page, top of my screen for the Kentucky Derby. So I took a screenshot of that. Um, win, place, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta, super high five, daily double, pick threes, what those bets mean. So I turned it into a class, and I was explaining the super high five with that. So, but that's so. Not only do you have these promotions here on the screen there on the Bleacher Bet portion of the site, you also have a bunch of different options for you here. Like if you want to learn like the terms of the baseball betting, how to bet NFL, how to bet NCAA, horse racing. You got all different promotions here as well. Now, if you're a horse racing junkie, you may want to go to FanDuel because with FanDuel at least, you can put let's say you put $200 in, and I am going to share my screen. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so I can talk to you. Now, you may prefer DraftKings, you may prefer Caesars, you may prefer that. That's fine. But I can tell you from personal experience that going um, with FanDuel, you can use your money in your account and use it directly to horse racing as well. Whereas the other sites, they make you have a different account, different pot. So that's something worth noting as well. So, um, but you do have all that, and but just when I wanted to show that on Tuesday, but we couldn't get to it. So, um, unfortunately, we had some issues there. So let's get to the college football picks. And I'm going to go with two games here tonight. And these games are on Saturday. Uh, and and you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just use DraftKings because that's what I've used in the past with my Philly fade picks. So, all right, so we got four college football games this weekend. So let me share my screen one more time tonight. So there we go. And that's the DraftKings site. And this is how it would look like on a computer. But I'm just blowing it up so you can see what's going on here. So you have four games here. All four games look horrible, but I'm still going to pick two games here. Now, I am going to show you a couple different things here. For example, minus 108 for the Florida State. Basically, what that means is they're 10.5 point favorite, or Georgia Tech's a 10.5 point dog. You have minus 108 for Florida State, which basically means it's an eight. You're paying 8% for your wager. So basically, if you wanted to play 100, if you wanted to win $100, you got to bet $108. So you get your $108 back, and then you get 100 on top for winning. So that's why for 208 you got to put in 108. So that's what that means. Now, let's say you think Florida State's going to shit the bed in Dublin. You don't even want the 10.5 points. You want the money line. Boom. So basically, all that means is if you bet 100, you'll get 340 back. So you'll get 440 overall. You'll get your $100 back plus your 340. But the thing is, if $100 is too rich for you, that is not a problem. Like I always tell you, bet within your means. I will tell you, I will tell you when I make these picks over the course of the season, this is rent week. I'm not playing anything, but this is what I would play, and these are going to be my picks for the Philly fade. So I'm not taking Georgia Tech here, but I just wanted to show that just because I was looking at that first game. So first thing I see here is Montana State is a FCS school, and they are a 2-touchdown favorite over New Mexico. Now, New Mexico is not a good team. And I don't know where they rank in terms of where they're planning, where they're projected to finish in the Mountain West this year. And I'm just looking here real quick as well. Just looking to see if there's any news here why they're 14-point dogs, other than the fact that you have a bad team facing an FCS team. And I don't see anything that's related to any injuries or anything. So, but both these teams are really bad. But New Mexico's a bad team. And you know what? I'm going to take New Mexico plus 13.5. I think they're going to keep it close at least. So I'll take New Mexico plus 13.5 at home over FCS Montana State, who is a top 5 program in that level of Division One. New Mexico State is one of the bottom teams in Division in FBS or 1A. So you may see a this could be a blowout as well, but I got to take New Mexico here. I just got to think that they got a shot to at least keep it close. So, so just let you know, I'm hearing something. I'm hearing noise, and I'm just want to make sure it's not in my bedroom. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break here. I'll give you my second pick. We'll be right back, and don't go away. Give me about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll play some music here, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So that music that you're hearing in the background, I don't know if I said something that set off my GOOGLE home, and I'm purposely not saying that G word because I don't want to set off the one over here. But I think we had another case where the one on my computer desk where I usually stream from, that did not go off, but the one in the bedroom did. Now, it may be that somebody ended up getting into it somehow. Because, like, for example, um, if you use Bluetooth to stream onto your smart TV, sometimes you get a couple of added TVs that aren't yours on there. But for whatever reason, it started playing music there, and I don't know what happened, but it started playing. So, but I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna be someone that's gonna say going to see ghosts or anything, but um, just something that happened. So we're gonna go with the final pick here, and we're gonna go with the game out in Hawaii. So let me get rid of me here and go to this. And let me get rid of the Be Right Back banner. There we go. So Hawaii is taking on Delaware State. Delaware State is another FCS team. Now, yesterday, Delaware State was supposed to be on a flight, or Tuesday. They were supposed to be on a flight to Hawaii to take on the Hawaii football team. So, and like I said on Tuesday night, I don't understand why they couldn't fly out of BWI or DC or Philadelphia. Instead, they flew out of JFK. Here it is. Here's the explanation. And for those watching that were watching Tuesday night, here's the explanation right here from Delaware Online. Delaware State's officials preferred taking a direct flight to Hawaii. Whoops. They preferred taking a direct flight to Hawaii for the Hornets season opener. Since none were available at closer Philadelphia or Baltimore airports, that required a bus ride to JFK Airport in New York City or the New York City borough of Queens. Instead, it turned out to be a travel nightmare and another chapter in the history of bus excursions gone awry for Delaware State. The Delaware State team missed the flight Tuesday morning because of what the bus company Wirtz Motor Coaches termed an internal scheduling malfunction and a statement made to HBCU Game Day. Delaware State is a historically black college and university. Traveling party spent the night in a New York City hotel while scrambling to rearrange their plans. The team flew to Hawaii on Wednesday morning though three separate flights were required, with all expected to arrive in Honolulu on Wednesday afternoon. Um, Kickoff is planned for 6 o'clock local time Saturday, which is midnight in the East Coast of the United States. It's a game where they're already going to be a significant challenge for the Hornets, who were 1-10 last year and now had their game week preparation undermined. The team had planned to visit local sites after arrival Tuesday and practice Wednesday. So, so that answers the question that I had of why did they not go from why did they not fly out of Philly or Baltimore? That's your answer. They wanted a direct flight. Um, it's unfortunate with the bus company, according to President Tony Allen, but that's another matter. I can tell you that these are resilient guys. Things like this happen. They got it. I know that they're uber focused on the game. Now, the thing is, as we will go back to the college football uh, board here, Hawaii's a 40-point favorite. And you got to be some major dog excrement to be a 40-point dog to Hawaii. Hawaii's not that good of a team. They're playing in a 9,000 seat stadium because Aloha Stadium was deemed unsafe. But I'm going to side with our friend, not OJ. OJ's dead. SJ. Hawaii's a 40-point favorite. I hate taking these huge lines, but I trust her. And we'll take Hawaii at minus 140. That's minus 110 on that. And New Mexico, I'm going to take them at plus 13 and a half. So those are my two picks for this week. And this is going to be an ongoing thing on Thursday nights. And who knows, maybe we have SJ making picks. Maybe my friend Frank, who is actually a horse racing and sports gambler, maybe he joins me on a Thursday night. We'll figure it out. But this week I fly solo. These are my two picks. New Mexico New Mexico plus 13 and a half at minus 108, and Hawaii at minus 40 at minus 110. So we had a quick show here tonight, and I do appreciate everybody that's watching on X and on Twitch, and those watching after the fact on X, Twitch, and YouTube. So do want to thank everybody for joining me here tonight. Bank Boy, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for those stopping by that were silent as well. You're more than welcome to talk at any time, and hey, we can even go into different directions on the topics here. So that is going to be it for now. I do want to see one thing here. Those that are watching, okay, those that are watching on those that are watching on Twitch, we're going to raid Action Labs. So those that are on Action Labs, those that are on Twitch, I'm going to transfer you over there. I'm going to raid there, and we're going to call it a night, and we'll do it live Monday night once again at 9 p.m. Eastern, and also check out also eligible Saturday morning 10 a.m. Eastern. We will talk about the big races at Saratoga this weekend. So that's it for now. We're going to raid. We are going to raid. We're going to raid Action Labs, and hope everybody has a great night. And I will catch you on Saturday on the Bleacher Brothers page, and Monday right here on my Twitch, YouTube, and X. So just remember, we're part of Bleacher Brothers, bleacherbrothers.com for all your sports needs. We are going to go over to Action Lab. They're a bunch of great people over there, and let's join them in progress. Have a great night, everybody. Catch you Saturday or Monday.